And good morning. Hey, it's Pete Najarian, and this is the take for Market Rebellion. It's going to be another very interesting day, but we're seeing things start to turn a little bit after all of this volatility, all of the velocity of the moves, and especially the velocity of what we've been seeing in the 10-year. The 10-year has been absolutely screaming to the upside. The VIX yesterday was screaming to the upside. It was up 24% on the day. So it gives you a really good idea of just how much, when we talk about velocity, we are talking about very, very rapid and just violent moves. And we are certainly seeing that specifically yesterday. When you look at the Dow was definitely under pressure. It continued to be under pressure. There was all kinds of concerns. And the Dow hadn't been getting affected the same way as the NASDAQ had. But yesterday was a different story. Matter of fact, the Dow actually was down as much as 600 points, finished down 570. And then you look over at the NASDAQ really hammered to the downside by 425 points. So again, we look at volatility. Volatility was trading somewhere throughout the session in the 23s where we closed, but we were up pushing towards that 25 level as well. So closed just off of those highs. Bitcoin just kind of hanging around that 42,000 level. That's been something to keep an eye on, but it was consumer discretionary. That was getting hit. We were also looking at technology. That was getting hit. That was down over 3% yesterday. Financials completely flipped from positive all the way into the negative and finished down about 1.5%. So you get the idea of just how fast things were moving, and the velocity just continued throughout the session. It did not ever stop. Now, you look over at the semiconductors, and they have been definitely under pressure. I see stocks yesterday like Applied Materials, that was down 7%. You look over at Moderna, everybody's favorite, that was down about 6%. Chinese names like PDD, that was down nearly 8% yesterday. We even saw a little bit of movement in other areas, but in the energy space, we still did see some green. Schlumberger was one of those names. ConocoPhillips, one of those names, holding on to some of those, that precious movement that they've had to the upside, and some of those violent moves, those beta names absolutely exploding. So as we get into today, the focus, of course, right there once again on the 10-year. Now we've lost that velocity. We really have. It's really kind of just holding on. 151 is about where we were looking at the 10-year. And it's not really giving us the same kind of movement that we had been seeing over previous sessions. So we start off the day with a little bit of a bounce, a nice bounce, but a little bit of a bounce up about 100, 150 points. We've jostled around a little bit, but that's about where we find ourselves right now. The NASDAQ continues that path as well. A nice bounce and holding on, call it about a triple-digit gain, at least for now in the first hour. That's what we're seeing the NASDAQ. Things do change very, very rapidly. You look over at the volatility, not moving a whole heck of a lot. Again, we're losing some of that velocity, and now it's trading, call it in the mid-22s. But it's been in this very, very tight range, at least so far in the first hour of the day, which is unusual. We have seen a lot of movement in previous sessions in the first hour, and then obviously through the rest of the day. Now, technology, early on, looked like it was going to be starting off very strong. Had a little bit of a brief pullback and then started to move back up to the upside. Not quite a 1% move to the upside, but nonetheless, a decent move. Energy really did improve off the lows. As a matter of fact, you look at crude was trading underneath 75, and then we had a nice move back over 75, holding somewhere near that 75 level. Crude was down well over 1%. Then it was down about 0.5%. Last I looked, it was getting closer and closer to being flat on the day. So a nice recovery there. Healthcare just continues to show a little bit of strength. Early on, we were strong, got a little bit stronger as we've gotten into this first hour of the day. Bitcoin not doing a heck of a lot, so there's not much to talk about there. Dollar Tree, that's a monster move today. You look over at Dollar Tree, up 13%. We see Boeing up about 4%. You get an idea of who some of the leaders are in some of these major categories. Hewlett-Packard, we see that name moving to the downside, unfortunately, for Hewlett, but we look over at something like Netflix up 3.5%, and Apple, always one of the most important stocks, of course, just based upon the mass of Apple. And it was up about 1.5%, a nice solid move to the upside after some of those losses yesterday. So I've got two unusuals for you. Then I'm out of here. I got no CNBC today. I got none of that kind of stuff. But today is going to be, or tomorrow rather, is going to be an absolutely swamped day. So as we look at today, the very first one I want to get to you is Lucid. This is a name we've talked about many, many times before. It's been an absolute monster for us in the past. That doesn't guarantee anything. No one ever gives you any guarantees, but I will tell you this. We are seeing some incredible option activity in that name. Stock was already up. Stock was trading right around 27.80, and we had a monstrous buyer of 23,000 of Fridays expiring, so October 1st. This is going to have to move between today, Thursday, and Friday, the October 1st 27 calls. These calls are bought for leverage. What do I really mean by that? All options are leverage, but these aren't those out of the money calls. These aren't even the at the money calls. These are in the money, the 27s with the stock trading close to 28. So somebody trying to find a position that really can move almost with the stock, you know, penny by penny to the upside. So those were going for 82 cents up to about $1.50 at the time of that buying. Boeing is my other one. Again, these expire Friday as well. We're right back into that whole deal where everything is extremely short term. Just about every single trade so far on our website has been very, very short term. Expiring Friday seems to be the theme of the day, October 1st. Boeing, stock was trading 227.40. We got the 227.50 calls getting bought, 7,500 of those. So right at the money, attacking Boeing, looking for a nice move over the next couple of sessions. $1.85 to something close to about $3.50 for those options. Gives you a little bit of the perspective. That's all air. So in the next 3 days, either that's got to move or those options start to get depressed. So you got to really have that knowledge. You need to know more about the options world. Check out our company. I got to tell you what, Market Rebellion, we have incredible folks out there who are the best age, or they're at least competitive as one of the very best places as far as education that you could ever find and give you a chance in the derivatives world. But you got to have the knowledge. You do not want to jump into that world without having the knowledge and understanding of what goes on in the options, the derivatives world itself. Folks, have a great day of trading. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.